20 years ago, when I started in design, nobody talked about wireframes, and I was not smart enough to figure out that sketching a layout before diving into the design was a good idea. Every client revision felt like a personal tragedy because it required a lot of effort and seemed to devalue all the work. Today, design students can immediately use wireframes in their work. This is crucial because it simplifies tasks by tenfold, sometimes even more. I'm going to show you the 3 main stages of wireframing. We'll also dive into some Figma tools you'll need and cover a few crucial concepts and rules to make sure you get the most value out of this design stage. One of the main concepts we use everywhere is the Progressive JPEG method. It involves quickly creating a rough overall picture, which is then gradually refined to the final result. At the wireframe stage, there are 3 steps: user flow, low fidelity wireframe, and high fidelity wireframe. A user flow is a flowchart showing the main actions a user takes to reach their goal. It's crucial because it helps you see how to simplify and minimize the steps from the starting point to the final goal. Usually, we build this chart based on user research, but sometimes we don't have the resources for that. When creating landing pages, we often skip this step and jump straight to wireframes. Here's an advanced tip. Maximum simplification isn't always the best approach. I once simplified the registration and course creation process in an LMS system, thinking it would help. Instead, it led to a huge increase in support requests. The new process was quick and easy, but completely unfamiliar to users, so they struggled to progress. Once you've drawn the user flow, you'll know which screens or side parts are key for this path. These are the ones you should design first and keep them as simple as possible. This is known as a low-fidelity wireframe. At this stage, speed is key. We don't write actual text. For instance, if we have a news feed, we simply draw a gray block and label it news feed. This stage is perfect for starting to master the main design tool of today, Figma. You don't need to organize everything systematically at this point. If you start organizing everything into folders, frames, and auto layouts, you'll waste a lot of time, and the stage will lose its value. Its value lies in the speed of execution. Some level of chaos at this stage is normal, so all you need are frames to designate screens, simple gray blocks, and text. Default fonts like Open Sans or Roboto work fine for wireframes, even though they're overused in modern interfaces. Also, keep an eye on the layer order on the left to make sure everything is in the right sequence and nothing overlaps. These are the basic Figma skills you need for wireframing. Never make the wireframe clickable at the low fidelity wireframe stage. I usually suggest going through all the screens and breaking down overly large blocks. For example, that news block should be broken down into smaller blocks, each labeled as a news item. You can add a headline, teaser, image, and date. This way we clarify what each news item will contain. We refine the wireframes a bit at this stage, which we could call middle fidelity wireframe, but this looks like process, not stage. Then we move on to high fidelity wireframe. In the high fidelity wireframe stage, avoiding perfectionism and focusing on logic and speed. High fidelity wireframe includes all textual content, though not the graphic content. If the text is your responsibility or the client hasn't provided it yet, write it yourself. Never get stuck on any task for more than 3 minutes at this stage. If you find yourself spending too much time on one screen or task, move on to the next one immediately. The key value of this stage is the speed of decision making and logic, not the detail. In our studio, it's a crucial rule that wireframes should always be ugly. Don't try to make them beautiful. You might see lots of nice looking wireframes on Behance or Dribbble or in Figma community files that offer design systems for wireframes. Resist the urge to make them look pretty. It's counterproductive and can complicate communication with the client. If you're working on a mobile app with lots of screens and a consistent navigation, consider making the navigation a component. For those who don't know, a component is a smart group with an original master component and copies. Changes in the master component are reflected in the copies. Components have a wide range of functionalities, which you'll delve into more when creating a design system. For now, you only need the basic functionality. Regarding text, write it as it is. If you need to describe a main screen that prompts the user to purchase, for instance, just write something like, "Hi username, you should buy this app because it gives you access to feature 1, feature 2, and so on." Don't worry about brand communication or perfect grammar. Logic is more important at this stage. Wireframes should be closed loops, meaning every button clearly indicates where it leads. This should be clear not just to you, but also to the client. Think from the client's perspective and ensure it's obvious where each button and link leads and what will happen when a drop-down menu is clicked. Once the loop is fully closed, you might create a clickable prototype to demonstrate the logic live, which is particularly useful for apps. For websites and landing pages, making wireframes clickable isn't as necessary. Even for small landing pages, ensuring the wireframe is not visually appealing is crucial. All designers have the urge to start aligning and beautifying things, especially after seeing many polished wireframes online. Don't give in to this urge. It's counterproductive and hinders the quick revision capability that wireframes offer. It also complicates client communication. If you're interested in why wireframes should be unattractive from a communication standpoint and how wireframes can help you smoothly manage a project with your client without revisions, check out our video on why wireframes should be ugly.